Welcome to our City Council. Today is November 7, 2022. It's 7:05 p.m. Let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Galvin,
Here.
Mayor Bieneme,
Here.
Vice Mayor Desilme,
Here.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin,
Present.
Councilwoman Timothy.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. And now let's move to the Pledge of Allegiance by the Chief of Police for the City of North Miami, Larry Juriga, followed by Pastor Mike Davis from Friends of Peace, Miami Beach Church, Inc., for the invocation.
Good evening. Please place your right hand over your heart and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Davis, please come forward. Pastor Davis. Oh,
I don't believe he's here, Mayor.
can you pray?
Yes, sir, I can pray. We can all pray. Heavenly Father, please look upon our city, look upon this body this evening, give them the wisdom to make the correct decisions, and bless everyone who's here and bless the absent ones and bring true peace to the world. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Madam City Manager, is there any addition, deletion, amendments, or deferral to the agenda?
We have a scrivener's error on tab D. We'd like to remove the line from Exhibit A that says households with income lesser equal to 50% of median income adjusted for family size. And we are also deleting tab F as there is no agreement currently.
Thank you very much. Also, we want to move tab I and J right after the consent agenda. Tab I and J can be heard right after the consent. Are you set? No, we are setting the agenda. That's mean. And now the agenda is set. Mr. City Attorney, can you proceed?
Yes, Mayor, the agenda is set. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. And we have a proclamation by Councilwoman Marie-Estime Irvin. It's Epilepsy Month. And there's a proclamation to Epilepsy Alliance Florida in honor of National Epilepsy Awareness Month. Let's go downstairs for the presentation. What happened?
Where's the folder? Good evening, everyone. I'm Councilwoman Mary Estime Irvin, and this month is National Epilepsy Awareness Month. In 2015, 1.2% of the total U.S. population had active epilepsy. This is about 3.5 million people with epilepsy nationwide, 3 million adults, and about 470,000 children. According to the latest estimate, about 0.6 of our children ages 0 to 17 have had active epilepsy. Think about a school with 1,000 students. This means about 6 of them have epilepsy. Epilepsy can affect people in various different ways. This is because there are many causes and many different kinds of seizure. How a seizure looks depends on the type of seizure a person is experiencing. Some attack can look like staring spells. Other seizures can cause a person to collapse, shake, and become unaware of what's happening around them. Epilepsy can be caused by different conditions that affect people's brain. Many times, this cause is unknown. Some causes include stroke, brain tumor, and central nerve system infection. A person with epilepsy is not contagious and cannot give epilepsy to someone else. Anyway, this month, we wanted to make sure that we recognize organizations that are doing good work. Today, we would like to present a proclamation for the National Epilepsy Awareness Month to Epilepsy Alliance Florida. Accepting on behalf of the organization is the Vice President of Business Development, Mary Gomez of Epilepsy Alliance Florida. Are you here? So there's a couple of whereas that I'm going to read. Whereas Epilepsy Alliance Florida was established in 1971 as a non-for-profit. EAP is a principal agency for epilepsy programs and services sponsored by the state of Florida, servicing over half a million Floridians who live with the condition. And so on this day, my colleagues and I, Mayor and Council, are declaring this day to be Epilepsy Alliance Florida Day.
So thank you, everyone. You know, all those statistics are great, but epilepsy really isn't well known in the state of Florida or in the country. There's a lot of stigma that goes with it, so we fight every day for those 500,000 individuals in Florida that are living with epilepsy. We never say they're struggling, they're living with it, and we hope to someday be able to give them a better tomorrow. So I thank you all for this honor, and I'll take it back to the office, and I know my staff will be super excited. But today I have with me Katia, who's one of our board members, and she's actually one of your local. Katia has been a champion for us here in Florida, and to have her on the board is truly an honor. So thank you.
City events and announcement, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, North Miami.
Use the
neighbors.
mic.
Microphone.
Sorry. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, North Miami, neighbors, and guests. My name is Tracy Pollock, and I am presenting the announcements on behalf of the City of North Miami. The following are upcoming city events and other notices. With subtropical storm Nicole on the horizon, the City of North Miami reminds everyone to remain storm ready. Stay connected by following the city's social media sites, visiting the city's website, and reading the city's e-blast about the storm. In honor of Veterans Day, the City of North Miami is closed Friday, November 11th, and will reopen 8 a.m. on Monday, November 14th. On Friday, November 11th, City of North Miami will recognize all veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces at the annual Veterans Day ceremony at Veterans Memorial at Griffin Park, Northeast 123rd Street and West Dixie Highway on Friday, November 11th at 10 a.m. A Veterans Day picnic will follow. Join the Getting Gear community bike ride on Saturday, November 12th, and experience a scenic ride throughout our beautiful city of North Miami. This month's ride is in honor of National Epilepsy Awareness Month. Registration begins 8 a.m. at Mocha Plaza, where the ride will promptly start at 8:30 a.m. and end 90 minutes after. In D4 News, Vice Mayor Alex DeSume, ED, will host a homeowners assistance program and housing rehab program town hall meeting on Tuesday, November 15th at Joe Celestine Center from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Vice Mayor will also host a turkey distribution at Nomi Village on Wednesday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Vice Mayor will also host the Nomi Fam Fest with Afro Beats Saturday, December 3rd, 2022 from 4 to 11 p.m. And there are several artists that will take place there at Claude Pepper Park in North Miami. And you could get tickets at nomifamfest.com. Give Miami Day is Thursday, November 17th. Please support the North Miami Education Foundation with a donation by visiting givemiami.org. GiveMiamiDay.org. Early giving begins Monday, November 14th. Bring family, friends, and neighbors to the dedication ceremony of the Scott Galvin Community Center, 1600 Northeast 126th Street in North Miami on Thursday, November 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. The City of North Miami is happy to invite you to the 47th Annual Winter National Thanksgiving Day Parade on Thursday, November 24th at 10 a.m. Enjoy bands, entertainment, community groups, and parade floats along Northeast 125th Street from Northeast 6th Avenue to 12th Avenue. RSVP at Winter National Thanksgiving Day Parade.eventbrite.com. To stay up to date with NOMI news and events, log on to North Miami's website at northmiamifl.gov. Click Connect with NOMI on the homepage to sign up for the city's newsletters. You may also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at NOMI News. This ends the city announcements.
Thank you very much. Let's move to the consent agenda. No. First of all, do we have any appointments, Madam Clerk?
We do not, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Point 8, consent agenda.
Unless a member of the City Council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through D constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through D be adopted.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion on the consent agenda?
Second.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Desilme to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much. The consent agenda is A to D.
Mayor, your mic.
Your mic.
So
Tab
it
I.
seems like we have another presentation. Maybe we'll do it at the next present. What this guy is doing here? Man, because it's the army, you know. They're the one protecting the community. That's when there's no way we won't let them do the presentation. And at the second presentation, we're gonna go downstairs for that. Sorry.
Yes, if you could come down, Mayor and Council.
Good afternoon. Oh.
That's at your house.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Emmanuel Genti. I am a resident here in the city of North Miami. I was deployed to Niger, Africa back in January. I was there for 6 months, and the mayor and his staff reached out numerous numbers of times, sent care packages, called all the time, even though it incurred long distance charges for myself, but I still picked up the phone. So we just wanted to just present this to him on behalf of, the Air Force. And it says here, the accompanying flag of the United States of America was flown over the skies of Niger on the 26th day of January 2022, carried by the 323rd Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron on an MQ-9 Reaper drone, tail number 4245, in support of Operation Inverted Light, presented to Mayor Philip Bienme, City of North Miami, in recognition of your unwavering dedication and support to the United States of America.
Good evening, Mayor. I'm Senior Master Sergeant Jose Diaz, also was in deployment along with Sergeant Genti. This particular flag, we had a group of people go into classified missions. I won't be able to divulge those information, but we, in your name, flew that flag on a C-130 to this classified mission and wanted to present this to you as a thank you for your act of kindness that you have shown to us, the military, and can say more than that. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and I don't know what to say at this time, but I do understand that protecting this country, because, I'm from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and, the army in our country, day and night, without resources, are doing most of the time what they're supposed to do to making sure we are safe. But in some occasion, we do understand that some people and in our armed forces do bad things. But in this country, the United States of America, we are enjoying freedom every day, and we feel safe here. And I think the United States of America is the best country on earth. But thanks to those men and women in uniform working every day to making sure we are safe, and they're putting their lives every day battle for our safety and for our freedom. And thank you very much for everything you have done for this country and for the community, for everybody. And I don't know if I can do it. And every day I'm asking my sons to join the army, and it's a very tough decision to ask, your son, your daughter to do. But when we see so many people in the front line protecting this country and making sure us as civilians, we are safe, and they are protecting our freedom, our democracy, and so we can meet here and we don't have to worry about anything. Is because of those people, and I'm so happy to receive that from the United States Air Force. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I wanted to present that to you as well. Thank you.
Tab I. A proposed first reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending sections 10, 36, and 58 of the city charter to change the date of the general election from May 9, 2023 to November 5, 2024, and to change the date of all subsequent elections, providing for the extension of existing terms of office, adopting such charter amendments pursuant to sections 100.3605, parentheses 2, and 166.021, parentheses 4, Florida statutes, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the charter and conformity of amendments, providing for repeal of conflicting provisions, and providing for an effective date. Tab I.
Thank you very much. And Mr. City Attorney, can you give an explanation on exactly what we are doing tonight?
Yes, Mayor. Tab I and its companion item, Tab J, would change our charter and our code of ordinances to reflect the change of the election. Currently, we have a general election set for May 9th, 2023. These ordinances would change the election from May 9th of 2023 to November 5th of 2024. This is pursuant to state statute 100.3605. It's a very short statute. It's only 2 paragraphs. That statute says the governing body of a municipality may, by ordinance, change the dates for qualifying and for the election of members of the governing body of the municipality and provide for the orderly transition of office resulting from some such changes. This actually specifically says that your charter or ordinances which cannot conflict with this section. So this section, like I said, would change the elections. Right, currently our elections are on the on odd number days, odd number years. This would change it to even number years. So those council seats that would be running on May of 2023 would change to November of 2024. Yeah, November 2024, and those other seats, the 2 other seats, would change to November of 2026. The effect of that election, the effect of this change would then change everyone's term of office by, I believe it's like around 18 months. So that's your new terms of office. In terms of, I mean, I can answer any other questions besides that, but that's what the first ordinance changes the charter. The second ordinance changes, which we'll get to, Tab J, changes the code of ordinances.
And also, Mr. City Attorney, one thing we need to precise for everybody: anything we do in here won't affect my position as a mayor.
No, you've based on the resign to run law, Mayor, you've resigned. Your resignation is effective November 22nd. So this does not, it affects your term that you seat, but that's a whole,
affect Philip
it doesn't affect you personally, no.
Whatever we do tonight, I'm still living on November 22nd, 2022. I want to make it clear for you. Whatever decision we're going to make tonight won't affect my letter of resignation. That's mean either way, I'm leaving on November 22nd, 2022. I just want to make it clear for everyone. And, okay. Thank you very much. And let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab I. Do you want us to read both and we can vote separately on both, or you want to do one and one?
It's up to you, Mayor. I mean, they are companion items. I think I've told you all in briefings. Tab I and J both have to have to pass in order for this to be effective. So
okay, let's call on both of them, even though we're gonna vote separately.
So I think you
let's
should read J then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Read J. Yes.
Go ahead.
Tab J, a proposed first reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 6 of the City Code of Ordinances entitled Elections by amending Article 4 entitled Election Administration, specifically at Section 6- 7.6 entitled Dates of Elections to change the dates for regular elections from May in odd-numbered years to November in even-numbered years to coincide with national and gubernatorial elections, changing the date of the runoff election, providing for repeal, conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date. Tab J.
Thank you very much. Now, both tabs, tab I and tab J, are open to the public.
Good evening, Karen DeLeon, 1935 South Hibiscus. Mayor, first and foremost, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best tomorrow,
Thank you.
and thank you for your kindness over the years, for always being receptive, always being open to working with us, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
So regarding mayor, can you guys help explain how that gets impacted with changing? My biggest concern, God bless extensions and people's terms and everything, but I really want to vote in my next mayor or my next long-term mayor. That's where I'm very confused about this. So it would be one thing if you weren't resigning, but we have an opening. So how does this impact that? And I feel like the voters, myself as a voter, I would like to make sure that I get to vote in the next mayor of long-term. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
Let-
that would be my query to you.
Okay. Just,
Okay,
that's a
thank you.
clarification that's a question I was gonna ask you, Mr. City Attorney, and just so we understand.
Okay, so
If in the event that we voted on this the way it is.
okay, so I have to explain to everyone where we are now,
Yeah.
and then explain what the change is.
Yes.
So right now, without this ordinance's changes right now, on November 22nd, you would resign. You'd no longer be here. There would be an absence on the council. Our code says when there is an absence on the council and the person who's now absent has served, I always got to remember this. There's two different options. If the person served less than half a term, then that seat goes to a special election. If that person has served more than half a term plus a day, then there's an
More,
appointment to
half
that
term
to that
plus
to
one
that
day.
seat. Half a term plus one day. That there's an appointment. So if we did nothing today on November 22nd, you would leave, and sometime after, probably at the December meeting, the remaining council members would have to vote on an appointment for whoever would serve as the mayor until the May 2023 election. That's how it would happen right now. If this ordinance passes, it then changes your term, and we're speaking specifically about the mayor. It changes your term. Your term would have gone from, I believe, May 21st of 2021. I'm sorry, May of 2021. It would extend to
The fourth Tuesday of May 2023.
Okay, to November of
2024.
2024. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, 2024. So what that does then, when you do the calculation, if it passes, by November of 22nd of 2022, you will not have served half a term and a day, which then means there would be a special election for the mayor. If this passes tonight, there would be a special election for the mayor. Our charter says that election must take place 60 days following the absence. So I don't know the calculation.
Maximum of 60
A
days.
maximum 60 days following the election.
Within
So
33
sometime
to 60 days.
right. So and of course that's all dependent on what the county.
If it
does
passed the
also.
way it is, that's mean we're gonna have a special election for the mayor within 60 days, if it passes the way it is. Yes, ma'am. Go
Yes,
ahead.
my name is Eileen DeCabo, 13350 Northeast 3rd Court. I completely support having the elections on the even months, on the even years, and to coincide with the national election. Where I have the problem with is I think that there should be a special election for the seats that are open as a result of the change. I don't think it should automatically be extended. I mean, when the voters voted, we voted for a specific length of time. We did not vote for a longer period of time. And this is increasing it almost 50%. So that is a huge increase. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just
Public-
want to, sorry.
Yes.
I just wanted to remind folks that there are 2 podiums, so please start lining up at the podiums so that when one person leaves the podium, the next one can speak and people can keep coming up. Thank you.
Good evening. Alina Medina, 1270 Northeast, 124th Street. the opinion by the city attorney, which is based on the state district attorney, that opinion is, there's no statement, there's no election date that has been as long a term, like it's going to be 18 months from now. It's always been a shorter time. So something is not right regarding, I'm sorry to not explain myself well. That is a whole term. If we wait 18 months for an election, there'll be a whole term. So going back to what the lady was saying, though, the lady before me. So, I mean, I don't know if Mr. Cazot, the statute that you read, if it has any reference regarding the time that has been done before regarding the opinion of the state district attorney, that would be great to have the clarification. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Eliana Albarran, 849 Northeast 121st Street. I am also in agreement that having the elections move to November is a good idea. The way that it's being done, however, I'm not necessarily quite confident in. I am wondering why this can't be postponed so that, if anything, term limits can be reduced after the May 2023 election instead of extending it. So I'm wondering if it can be postponed in order to avoid the special election and move towards this in a more efficient way. And that's also democratic because it ensures that the people who are there are not having their time period extended without elections, but rather, if anything, maybe reduce. But thank you. And
Thank you very much.
Turn in the paper.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Good job. Rudy Singh with the Open, 3892 Southwest. Southwest.
Can you say your complete address?
Yeah, Southwest Miramar, Florida. Come visit me. The biggest concern, in my viewpoint, is the cost of that 18 months, right? Ideally, what is it going to cost the city to be in this position for 18 months? And then you have individuals who are actually running for office as well, so they have to take that in consideration. 18 months of making a change in their livelihood. You know, as you guys know, service and running a campaign is very stressful. So that's an additional 18 months. And not to keep in mind, right, on top of that, we got to keep in mind that I'm going to try to find a politically correct way of saying this. In an 18-month period, that literally gives someone the ability to not just extend their position, but be in a position where if they're running for office, they're like sort of campaigning for that 18 months. No. Is that confusing? Maybe I'm confused. But on top of that, at the end of the day, bottom line is, how much is 18 months going to cost the city? Which is the most cost-efficient route? Would it be 18 months or just going through the special election? And I yield the mic.
Thank you very much. You said your address, right?
Yeah, he did.
What's your
3892 Southwest Miramar, Florida.
Okay, Miramar, city of Miramar. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Kenneth H., 13045 Emerald Drive, North Miami. Mayor, council members. I've been in the city over about 50 years now. And I know I don't show my age, but I'm here.
No, you're not.
We talked about this issue before, and I support it. One of the biggest disappointments I have is when we have a municipal election, we have a very poor turnout. The essence of our democracy is voting, okay? And this, by changing it and keeping you guys in office for another 18 months, is the right thing to do. The voter turnout will be there. It's an absolute disgrace when I look at the municipal elections and see minimal people turning out for it. When you have the presidential election, when you have the gubernatorial election, more people are going to turn out. And you know, I know all of you. I've seen you up here. We don't always agree. And I don't believe this is some kind of a political ploy to keep you in office longer. Mr. Galvin, you're ready to go. I mean, after 20-something years, you're ready to go. And Mayor, I wish you Godspeed tomorrow, and my fingers are crossed.
I'll see
Even
you
the
on
one
the
that I'm
journey.
missing is crossed for you, believe me. And, you know, I know each and every one of you. I know your integrity. I know your honesty. I know your dedication. You didn't sign up for this job for glory or anything else. You signed up for it to serve the citizens of this community, and I have confidence in you. But this is essentially an important ordinance, and I'm with it 110%. I cannot tell you how important it is. We discussed this previously on the Charter Board, and I think it's something that's so important to give the voters of this community, to get them out there and to vote. This is a motivational thing, and I think we should do it. Like I said, our turnout on the municipal elections is dismal. It's sad. You know, my godson is here. He's a veteran also, and he fought for this country.
Thank you.
And one of the things that's so important to us veterans is the right to vote. And I think this is the right way to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck tomorrow, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Karen Frederick, 425 Northeast 139th Street.
Are you talking about?
I'm a
as an
concerned
employee?
resident tonight.
See?
I
Jokes.
am not an
That's
employee.
a joke. I'm joking.
Mayor, thank you for your service and good luck for tomorrow. And I know you're going to be happy tomorrow night. I'm in favor of this item, and I want to talk to my previous, the previous person who just spoke, not before Mr. Speech, that's his name. It's not about politics. We elect officials here to work. They're not campaigning. They're here to do their job. Now, if someone decides not to work and then complain that it's campaigning, that's another story. So, Mayor and Council member, please vote yes on these items.
We can't do that here, so we're doing spirit fingers when we agree.
Tonight, they agreed to do that.
Jazz hands, or, you know, maybe a thumbs down if you don't agree, all right? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. ma'am.
Hi, my name is Deborah Davies, 1165 Northeast 127th Street. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having this meeting tonight. I think it's a good idea to hold local elections at the same time as national ones, but I also think we can make this transition in a way that the citizens and voters of North Miami will support. Why not hold the election that everyone is expecting and looking forward to in May 2023, and then hold another election in November 2024 to complete the transition to the new election cycle? Every candidate in the May 2023 election will know that they are running for an abbreviated term and that they can decide to run again or not in November 24 when the new cycle begins. This could be a more transparent solution to the public and the current slate of candidates. There would be some additional expense, but the money for the 23 election is already in the budget, and there will otherwise have to be a special election for the mayor and/or council member in any case, from what you said. My proposal would avoid the perception that the current office holders are trying to hang on to their seats for longer than they were originally elected, which is democratically and legally problematic. The residents will rightfully see this as an abuse of power by the current council to stay in office for an extra year and a half, especially at higher salaries as a result of the generous pay raise you have awarded to yourselves. The public deserves and expects an election in May 2023, and we are already having a national election in November 24. So let's have a local one then too. Thank you, and I hope you will seriously consider my proposal, which other residents have told me they support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Public hearing still open on tab I and J.
A reminder that there are two podiums.
We have two mics. That means if I close public hearing, and sorry.
Good evening, Hector Medina, 1217 Northeast 124th Street. Of course I oppose this. This doesn't make any sense. We elected you to serve until May 23rd. Anything after that is un-American. 18 more months of serving without a mandate, without the voters being involved? No. And several of us who are candidates, we have spent a lot of money already. Things are ready to roll, and if you want 18 more months, this is not the way of doing it. You know, this is, the two cases that the city attorney refers to only extend 6 and 7 months the mandate of the city officials, not 18 months. 18 months is a whole term. This is unheard of and un-American, and you should vote no.
Yes, sir.
Hector Rivera, 12478 North Bay Shore Drive. First of all, Mr. Mayor, good luck tomorrow. We are cheering for you. I personally casting my faith in you that you're going to continue to do service to our area here. You've been an amazing mayor, and you're going to do wonderful tomorrow, I'm sure. Thank you very much for your service, and I wish you Godspeed tomorrow. You're going to bring in those votes. About this issue, there's a conflicting thing here. We would love for whatever changes to be had to include extending the mayor position. I think 2 years for mayor is kind of, I kind of like the idea of extending your term, but you're going to do another service for us very soon. But the mayor should, if you guys are going to, change this election thing, maybe you look at the mayor's position, make it a stronger mayor. Also, the council to be able to re-elect. I think term limits here, based on the services that you guys have provided us, the way our city is today, I feel that, you guys should have the opportunity to continue in the footsteps of Scott here, Scott Galvin, that served our community for so many years. We would like to see some of you guys stay longer. And we really appreciate everything you do. I'm sure you're going to ponder. You had some feedback from the community. Some people are more interested in controlling who has a seat as opposed to appointing. Me personally, I think you guys should put Scott, if he's going to hang in for another year and a half, put him as mayor. But what you call that, I think there will be a special election from what I heard. I was outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I thought we got along, Hector. You can't control that.
Hello, my name is Marisol Medina. I live at 1270 Northeast 124th Street. I like the idea of moving the election to a date that is in the general election time frame. I do think that extending current council's term is a little bit too much, so maybe we could moving forward, but it seems really short notice to get anybody else in office, and to do political stuff so that people are probably informed about their candidates would be way too rushed for this current term to be moving forward. And I just think we should maybe take a little bit more time on this and allow the normal election to happen this time, and maybe moving forward make that shift. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor Council. Good evening, everyone. I would like to ask one question. My name is Emanuela Florimont, 822 Northeast, 125th Street, North Miami. I'm a current resident and a business owner in the beautiful city of North Miami. My question for the city clerk, how much, like I'm talking about like on a financial point of
No,
view.
you don't. You can. You ask me the
Oh,
question.
okay, Mayor. I'll
and
ask
I
the mayor.
dispatch the
I'm
answer.
talking on a financial point of view of having an election. If we have the election before I ask the mayor the question, I agree with all of you. But the one thing that I want the mayor to tell me, how much it will cost us to have an election in May 2023, how much it will cost, and if we don't have the election, how much money we will save, the city will save. Why I ask you that question is because the city of North Miami, it's a city that we have middle-class family, and we have a lot of people in need. So if we can save that money and extend it, so we can spend that, like, in 2024, that money in 2023 will help the residents that live in the city. As a young business owner And I serve the community. I know the need of my community because I live here for 10 years. I've been in school, graduating, and have my own business. I know the needs of my community. So the city was in red. Thanks to the beautiful staff we have, the city manager, now we just in a positive way. So we want to keep being in a positive, not in a negative account all the time. Saving the city the money will help us a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed. We have 2 items, and do you have any answer? How much money was budgeted for the election? About 300,000 a year when we have an election?
Well, $260,000.
260,000, that's a saving of 260,000. And we have tab I and J. And now let's move to the council. Let's, this week, Councilwoman Timothy.
Thank you, Mayor. Through the mayor, through the city attorney, I guess I'll address my questions to you, Mr. City Attorney, since you're the one that prepared the memo. And the memo is the same on both items, correct? So if they're looking at tabs I and J, it's the same memo, same memo attached.
Same memo, yes.
Thank you. You mentioned that there's 2 items with the same memo attached. And can you please explain why, just one more time, that there's 2 different items?
The reason there's 2 different items because the topic of election comes up 2 places in our code of ordinances. One comes up in our charter, the other comes up in our code of ordinances. So we separated them to make the changes that are required in the charter in the first item, and the changes that are required in the code are in the second item.
Thank you. And I noticed that you quoted a state statute that allows us to make this change to the charter, make this change tonight via ordinance. Can you read that statute on record, please?
This is statute 100.3605. It's titled Conduct of Municipal Elections. It states in Section 1, the Florida Election Code, Chapters 97-106, shall govern the conduct of municipalities' election in the absence of an applicable special act, charter, or ordinance provision. No charter or ordinance provision shall be adopted which conflicts with or exempts a municipality from any provision in the Florida Election Code that expressly applies to municipalities. Section 2 states the governing body of a municipality may by ordinance change the dates for qualifying and for the election of members of the governing body of the municipality and provide for the orderly transition of office resulting from such date changes.
Thank you. So that state statute allows us to change our elections to...
Yes, ma'am. It not only allows you to change it by ordinance, regardless of what your charter says, but it also specifically prohibits you from passing any law to exempt you from this section.
Correct. And does that statute limit how many times you can make a change to your election?
It does not.
Does it provide a time period in which you can make such change? I know Alina Medina mentioned that we have an election that is 6 months away. Does that statute make any provision?
It does not.
So it pretty much states that we wanted to, we could change our election.
Pretty much.
But at the same time, just to add to what you're saying, but even though we have an election and for May 2023, we still have to pass an ordinance to call for the election. If we don't pass it, there is no election. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. We still have to pass a resolution to move to do.
But
the
we would
election.
have made a change to our charter that would require us to call an
Yeah.
election at that time.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
okay.
you have to use your mind.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that, in your memo, you mentioned what the code addresses in terms of a vacancy of a position. Does the code also mention that the vice mayor serves as acting mayor until we appoint or elect? Well, for this item, it says that we would host a special election. What does it states about the acting mayor title?
There's no acting mayor under our. There's no acting. The title of acting mayor does not exist in our code or our charter.
Thank you. So the reason why I'm bringing this question up is because there was a time where there was an acting mayor and the person also served as a council member.
I wasn't here when that happened, and I know the code didn't have the term there either. The code, and it's explained in my memo. So there's two different things, and I know some people got confused with that, but there are two things, right? So the code talks about absences of the mayor, and I forget the other language they use. Hold on a second. And vacancy of the mayor. All right, right. So absence. So the vice mayor serves when the mayor is absent, which means if the mayor's sick, the mayor is at a conference, the vice mayor is there to take over the meeting. There's a specific code section that talks about vacancy. So we know it doesn't, because we have a separate section. We know that when there's a vacancy, that's the section that we have to look at. And so the section on vacancy is what I quoted earlier, which talks about if there's a vacancy and you've served less than half your term, then there's a special election. If there's a vacancy and you serve more than half your term plus a day, then did I get that wrong again?
Yeah.
I did. No, I got it. So yeah,
But
section.
also, just to elaborate, until such election, the vice mayor is act as mayor until we fill the vacancy.
So again, I wasn't here. I don't know why they came up with the term acting mayor.
The reason why-
The point is, if you're in a situation where there is going to be a special election, there's no point in having someone appointed as mayor at that point. You would wait the 60 days until the election. So the vice mayor just serves as the vice mayor until that election.
No, the law said act as mayor until we fill that position, because in my case, the mayor, the vacancy happened less than a year and a day. And by code, we had to have an election within 60 days. And during that 60 days, the vice mayor act as mayor until this election. Okay, we're not there yet.
I'm not even sure if it's
we're not,
relevant,
okay,
but
okay.
I mean, again,
listen, let's not discuss that.
It's relevant.
It's there. Okay, let's. You can,
So there are too many people talking over
Sorry.
each other. There is somebody taking actual record right now, and so she needs to be able to hear each person one by one for just this one meeting, please.
Thank you. So I
someone
know
taking one?
they have a court reporter taking,
Oh,
translating. So I know section 13 of our code states that the vice mayor shall act as mayor during an absence or disability. And then it talks about, in section 15, it talks about the vacancies.
Yeah.
So that was where my question was coming from. So as it stands right now, with this resolution, well, this ordinance is calling for, is to change our terms, well, everyone's term up here, and extending it and changing the election date to November 2024. Is that correct?
I'd phrase it a different way. The purpose of the ordinance is to change the election date from May of 2023 to November of 2024. As a consequence of changing the election day, then you have extended the terms. So the point of this is not to extend the terms. It's a consequence of changing the dates of the election.
Could we change the election dates but not extend our term?
No, the statute doesn't.
because further he said,
You have to still come up with the orderly transition of power, and then also your charter still, I mean, it's a term. The term has been extended. I mean, there's no other way to change that. I don't even know mechanically how you would do it.
Mm-hmm. Could we continue with 4 members up until November 2024?
No.
you forced to.
So we would be.
Or the
Oh,
state.
no, with this ordinance, we would have
Yeah,
to hold.
yeah, forced
host-
to, yeah.
okay. Um, I would be inclined to support this item as it is, knowing that moving it to 2024, it does, encourage more turnout. We would still have some type of democracy and be able to elect a mayor and allow the voters to decide who the mayor would be, and save the city some dollars and and changing our elections to, the presidential and the primaries. I'm not in support of how it's being done because we are 182 days away, 6 months away from our upcoming elections. We've had 2 people already filed to run for mayor, where, we have 3 out of our 5 seats that are vacant, and everyone has been, rambling about this upcoming election. I know for me personally, I planned a year in advance to run for office. I filed in September. So knowing that candidates have already filed, candidates have already made financial adjustments to their families, they probably given notice to their jobs, life adjustments, planned their family. To the sponsor of this item, my question would be, why now?
Are you done?
No, that was a question for you, Mayor, if you would want to
No,
answer.
at the end.
Yeah, at the end. Like,
yeah.
why now?
Maybe I have multiple questions will be addressed to me.
Mhm.
I'll answer them at the end.
Okay. I think that's it for me.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did have one more.
Yes.
What is the cost savings? Do we know that answer? So does it save money? Because I've heard this before, and I think someone mentioned it. Would it save money if we move our elections to November 2024 as opposed to having it in May of 2023?
I can't answer that question. I think that's better to answer. Question
Oh,
for the manager.
Madam
or the
Manager?
clerk. I don't know.
Do you know how much money the city would save?
There was no savings calculation done. I mean, the cost of an election is $230,000.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
260.
There was no calculation on a savings in terms of that. So I don't have a number.
But how
for you
much
in
money
terms of
was
savings.
budgeted this year?
This year, it would be it was almost about 260,000. But we still will spend the money on an election. It's delayed.
So we don't know what the fiscal impact is of this item. Normally you have that prepared with.
Well, what I could say for this item is that it's not necessarily a savings. It cost us what an election cost at the time, but you wouldn't have an election. You wouldn't have an
No, for the
election
fiscal,
in
for the
this
fiscal year 2023, you're saving that money. You're gonna have
Right,
to
for
budget
this
on
year.
doing
Right.
2024.
Right.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
for
not that
this
it
year.
becomes like free or less, but in this fiscal year, you wouldn't have the 200 and.
No,
But wait,
No,
doesn't this
actually,
have
no.
a 60
So
days?
it-
Well,
Yes, they still have an
Oh,
election.
actually, you would still have an election in
Yeah,
60
but-
days if it's November 2024.
I
So you would
understand.
spend that money in this fiscal year also. So there's
Yep.
a null.
But the saving, when you have a local election during a county election or a presidential election, it costs you less at the county level.
Do we
It's
know,
not
like,
the
right,
same
but
thing
in
when you have
this-
standalone election?
Right, but in this specific instance, in November 2024, with there being an absence happening on November 22nd.
No, my question was, what is the cost? So
You'd
we
still
know.
have a special election
No, no,
because
no.
there's going to be a
No, no,
vacancy.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying in November of 2024, how much would the city have saved? Like, what's the cost difference? If it costs $300,000 for us to host it in November, how much would it cost us to host an election in November of 2024? Like, NMB is having their election right now, coinciding with the primaries. Like, how much do they pay for their election?
Okay, can I give you a quick answer?
I don't have a quick answer for that
Okay.
question specifically.
Let me remind you that in 2014, right, when you had the vacancy and we had a special election in November, 260,000 is for a standalone election. When it's in November, it costs us only $30,000 at the county level. That's what we spent in 2014. That's a big difference.
Yeah, I don't have the difference on 2014.
we had it before.
Can we
but
have
the
that number
question of
provided?
whether or not you would have, if on November 22nd you don't have anybody in the seat, and the one seat, the others wouldn't go to election, we will still have an election this year.
No, I
And we'd be
understand that. I'm
holding
just
our
saying
own
for
election.
November.
I'm talking about moving
Yeah.
forward.
Moving forward, how much
Yes,
would our
moving
elections?
forward, there should be a savings.
A big
What the
saving.
number is, I don't have.
I understand.
Can we have that number for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Thank you. That was the last.
Okay, let's go to District 3.
You can go to District 1 first.
You have a question?
Just quickly, I know that savings would be realized because in a standalone election of the city, we have to pay for all of the clerks that are polling places. We have to pay for the polling places to be open. We have to pay for all of the processing that goes on. The reason that we saw the reduction, a few years back was because when it's on a county or statewide ballot, we don't incur those costs. Dade County Elections Department incurs those costs. So that's one of the main reasons why there was a savings, because standalone, we're responsible for every dollar related to it. Combining, there's several different places we might save money. My second and maybe last question is for the city clerk. For the city clerk. How many people? I'm sorry.
We don't. That's.
I'm just have question of curiosity. How many people in District 1 have qualified to run for the election that would normally be held?
To my recollection, off the top of my head, I believe it's one person at this time who's actually filed.
Can we?
But when it comes to qualifying, we're not in our qualifying period yet, so it's not possible for anyone to actually qualify.
Right. So officially, nobody's yet on the ballot, though some people have opened accounts and things like that. And you're sure for District 1, it's one, it's not more than that?
Give me 1 second to check.
Councilman, it's two things. At this time, there is no qualifying candidates.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I'm just curious if you were to tell me today 5, 6, 7 people have already filed paperwork for District 1, that might have some influence on, my decision. I'm inclined to support it like Councilman Timothy is apparently, but I just want to know how many folks might have.
So for District 1, as I said, it's one person has filed to run for office.
What about mayor, Madam Clerk?
We have 2 for mayor, 1 for District 4.
I'm sure between now and the next meeting, we probably have like 10 more people file.
But no one is qualifying. We don't have a qualifying
'Cause that starts
candidate
in March.
at this time.
Yeah.
And we also have a political action committee as well that has registered. But like I said, the qualifying period is not yet upon us, so nobody can actually be qualified at this time because it's outside of the qualifying period.
Thank you. That's the only question I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. District 3?
Okay, thank you so much. Just a question to you, Mr. Mayor. What is the narrative, or why is this coming up now? Why is the request to change the election coming up now?
I'm going to answer the question at the end. But whatever we do today, like I said before, I won't be a part of it. It won't affect me. That's when I have nothing to do in that.
So
it won't affect me. That's when I want to make it clear.
Right. So I wish everyone luck tomorrow in the races that are happening, but I just have a question respectfully. So in the event that you're not successful tomorrow,
whatever it is, I'm
opting-
leaving on November 22nd, 2022.
Can you run for
Whatever
special
it
election?
is. Whatever it is, I'm leaving on November 22nd, 2022.
Okay.
Because I
so-
already resigned.
Right. So my issue with this is, again, I'm a big advocate for people to exercise their right to vote, to participate in the process. I came in 2019 with a deficit of $8.4 million. At the time, if we were talking about saving money, I think this would have been a great idea to do it at the time. 7 months later, we had a pandemic. People were dying. People were dying in our pandemic. We had a global pandemic. We still held elections. And again, that would have been an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? This is a global pandemic. Let's bring this up. Let's extend it so that we can better serve the people. That would have been a little bit more, I felt, reasonable. My problem is, someone used the word transparent. This doesn't feel transparent. Less than 24 hours before an election. I understand all of the rhetoric that's been said here, and that's fine, but, and I just don't, my thing is, why don't we, if we think this is right and we want to save some money, let's do a referendum. I know we can do the ordinance, let's take it to the people. Let the people decide if they want to do this election in November. And if they're in agreement with what we're proposing. But I guess I just would like to have a better understanding why November 7th, why now, when we had ample opportunities to make a difference.
Are you done, Councilman? I am, thank you. But to answer the question, understand that it's an ordinance and you have two readings. That's mean if you pass it tonight, you still have the opportunity to, this gonna come back before us on the 18th, and that's when you have nothing to do with timing an election, because it's two reading, one before, one after.
May I have another question too. Mr. Attorney? I have a question for you. Was there an ordinance like this before to change the election, and when?
Yes, ma'am. I believe 2015, the council brought this item up before. I think it was under Mayor Smith Joseph. It passed on first reading. On second reading, it looks like, based on the record, that it wasn't even voted on the second reading.
Can I ask a question to you?
Yeah.
I'm not wishing you bad luck, Mayor, but if the mayor is unsuccessful tomorrow, could he run in that special election?
There's nothing that prohibits him from running for that special election.
Listen, and
I'm not saying he will, but I'm just saying to know.
and let's be precise that I'm gonna win tomorrow night. Okay?
Victory party at Cafe Creme.
If people are talking,
We either have
the
jazz
victory
hands
party
or
gonna be at
thumbs up or
Cafe
down.
Creme tomorrow night at 7:30. That has nothing to do with me. I said, the only, listen, we have about 34 municipalities in Miami-Dade County. The only reason you're having an election in North Miami Beach right now is because they have done that. That's mean everybody been doing it. That's mean it's not something new to a municipality within Miami-Dade County. That's mean nothing new. It's not like we are doing something nobody else have done that. You, District 3, you done, Councilwoman?
I'm done for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Desuman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to my colleagues. Can I proceed now? I know you guys are excited about this item, but I can say one thing. Everyone who has spoken liked the idea of moving the election in terms of getting greater voter turnout. Do I support the item? Yes, and I'm gonna be very honest. It would benefit myself and Councilman Galvin for an extra whatever the months maybe. And I started to get calls over the weekend, and they started to throw the mayor name, politically, and And I said to them, I said, let me say one thing to a couple of residents who did call. They were excited. And a lot of them are here. They told me they were coming. I told them they didn't need to come because I could handle this. But the residents who are here, in support of this item, please stand up. Si nous la pour item ça nous supporter, s'il te plaît, camper. I would like for you guys to stand up if you are here in support, because a lot of times, and because they called me, thank you. Yes. Thank you. Lola, you're not in, so that's okay. No, you could sit. It's okay. It's okay. No, I see Charlie. And I want to say this for a reason. Because I come here and I work. And these people know it. And I appreciate what they did. I asked them not to come. But they say, if this is something that's benefiting you, I will come. I was here in 2015 when the item come. And for us to make this not about the mayor, Mr. Attorney, so that if some of my colleagues, if they serious about this, I would propose, if we can legally, Mr. Attorney, that I would propose the date of the presidential preference primary of March 27th, or whatever that date may be. I don't know the research of that date. That would not even pursue it in terms of if you guys talk about the mayor running, because that would eliminate that factor. So if anyone here would have the incline to support all of that they were talking about, then this would be the opportunity. If so,
And I would
Which
second
election?
that. And I would second that. What Vice Mayor is saying, in order for people who maybe think it will apply to me, if we move the election instead of November 2024, we will move the election to March 2024, March 24th, 2024. So whether or not
What is on March 24th?
I won't be able, the presidential primary.
It's
That's
actually
mean
March
there's
19th.
no way for
There
me to
is-
run for a special election. That's mean I second that motion.
There was no
So
motion on the
people-
floor.
There's a
I know
court
he was
reporter.
talking.
There's a court reporter, and she needs to hear everybody one at a time.
I think I had the floor, Madam Clerk.
Yeah,
You're-
Madam
you
Clerk,
did.
yeah, Madam Clerk, I'm the chair of the meeting, please. Yeah, I understand that. I'm the chair of the meeting. He's applied. Thank you. Yes, Vice Mayor.
And I don't know if my colleague would accept that date, because I have been so, people thinking, yes, we all politicians here, but a lot of us have good intention for the city. But they put everything into election, what's going to happen tomorrow. God knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And whatever's going to happen tomorrow, it's already done. It's already done. So with this thing about the mayor running, if this is for the mayor, I told people who called me, I said, I don't know anything about this. I'm supporting this because I would love if the people to allow me to continue to work for 18 more months, whatever the months may be. Now it's shorter. If we put it for the 2024, I would love that. Now, guess what? If we decided to go to an election and I decided to run for mayor, I would beat whoever we have to. But we're not doing the political stuff. And I'm just saying the game needs to stop. This is serious. These people, we have a lady who was in the hospital who called me crying and said, I can't make it, Councilman. I said, make what? He said, I heard because one of the senior called me and told me that there might be a chance that we may have an opportunity to keep you and Councilman Gavin up there.
And Vice Mayor Desume, what we are discussing is not about keeping you or not. All we are doing is moving the date of the election so the city can save money.
Yes,
that's what
we
we
know.
are discussing now. And your proposal is to move the election on March 24, 2024. Whether I win or lose, I won't be able to win.
Mayor, can I ask some questions, please?
Right?
Yes.
Are you? I hope that people are happy today. Yes, go ahead.
So you mentioned, I'm looking at the Miami-Dade County election calendar, Miami-Dade County election calendar. And you mentioned a presidential primary happening in March.
2024,
It's actually March 19th.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever.
March
Yeah,
19th,
yeah,
2024.
Yes.
What election is that? Like,
That's presidential primary.
when you select.
Federal.
So this is when the Rs or Ds select who's going to be nominated.
Yeah.
If I may, according when I had my briefing and questions, it had to coincide with a federal or a county election. North Miami Beach did this a couple years ago. There was nothing. But now it's North Miami. Everybody's, this and this and this and that. The political
That's the
pundit.
best. We're the best.
We are the best, but so we appreciate that. So I would support the item, and I would ask with the friendly amendment if that may say. Thank you.
And I second that.
We have
Madam, Mr. City Attorney, can
we
what,
discuss
can
the
you specify the
implication?
date?
Can we discuss the implications of moving it to March 2024 as opposed to November 2024? I just had a question.
Okay, so
Can I?
For the city attorney.
So by changing, so the request is now to change the date of the election from May 2023 to March of 2024. So that changes some of the calculations that I said earlier today. As I said earlier today, by changing the election date to November of 2024, the mayor will not have served half his term plus a day, right?
So now that means that it would be an appointment as
Now
opposed to an election.
it would be, because it's a shorter period of time, it would be an appointment.
Until, so the remaining members of this council would appoint.
On November 22nd, or sometime after November 22nd, the remaining 4 members of the council would have to select someone to serve as mayor
And
until March of 2024.
And so when I'm looking at the Attorney General's opinion, it shows moving elections from March to November, April to November. I'm not sure what the turnout is in March, but if we're trying to encourage turnout, why would we move it to March and not November? I would support it if it was November, but not March. So would you have to look at the Attorney General's opinions again, or it doesn't matter?
The Attorney General's opinions are there just to show the purpose of those opinions, and I know people are reading into a whole lot of it. And all the statute says is that you can change the election dates to coincide with a federal or state election. In those 2 cases, those 2 cities decided to they had elections in March. They decided to move it to November. It doesn't speak to when you can make the changes. It just says the statute itself, which is what's controlling here, says that you can move it to any date that matches a state or election. So yes, you could potentially move it to March of 2024 because there is a state election on March of 2024.
The presidential primary preference. And does that saving still apply? Madam City Attorney, you would have to go look at it again. Would it still cost us $30,000 as opposed to $300,000?
I think the March 2024 means that there is no election. So there would
No. We would move our elections to March 2024. So I say, what is the fiscal impact to the city?
Same
Is it
thing
still the
for
same
county.
300,000, or would it be the
No,
reduced?
it should still be reduced because it's
30,000.
going along with the presidential
It's
primary.
a county election.
But, right. So the cost should be reduced if it's going along because they're going to have presidential primaries.
The county pay the cost.
Again, I don't know the March 2024. I mean, what the clerk just mentioned, I don't know one way or the other. I don't do elections. I don't know if that March 20 that election because it's a presidential. I don't know if
It's a presidential
it's a
primary
county
preference.
does that happen every 2 years. I don't know.
every
the answer.
4
Every
4 years.
Oh, so it happens every 4 years?
Just like the 2024.
So then that means then we can't do it.
I mean, it
No,
Does that mean that we can't do it up here? We can't move it because our elections are held every 2 years? Or does it mean that it would cost us more on certain months because only the year where we have the 4-year election, we would save, but the 2 years later, we won't save?
again, I don't know what that.
So maybe we need to
March
table
election-
this
I don't
item
know
and
what
bring
that
it
March
back.
election is, but if there is no March election every 2 years, then
We
yeah,
would have to pay the
yeah,
$300,000,
there's no
meaning that we
savings.
would not be saving money. Well, we'll be saving a little bit,
Well,
but not as much.
there's no.
Why not move it to November?
But wait, there's no November election every 2 years.
Yes, there is. It's it's where we're
they
doing
have
right now.
There's a
they have the
county
presidential, the
election.
county
The
election,
state, the
the
federal.
state.
It's
Yes,
county.
the
Federal.
county, but we going with
When
the
it's
county.
federal, the county gonna have to conduct an election anyway. The county is responsible for this election.
Yes, and we have elections every 2 years.
That's what it is, every
That's
2
what it
years.
Yeah, so November.
But you wouldn't because you're moving everything.
You're
Period.
moving everything.
So you wouldn't,
If y'all move it to March,
even if you move it for into November anyhow, because you're moving it for 2024. The item right now is November of 2024.
and I would be in support of November
It's the same thing if
2024.
you- in
I would not be
2026,
support.
every
Oh, so
2
you
years
are-
you
so
work
you
on
are
I'm in
in
that.
support
support
of November 2024. I would not be support of March 2024.
Okay, good. Well, I'll support that. That's fine.
You would support one.
I'll support that. She said that I'll support that. The November, because at first she said, but now we're getting a little consensus, so that's fine. We could do the March
If
24. So which would be that the mayor election would go on 6 months from now. So everybody's happy.
Not
So
6
No.
months.
Yeah, in 8
60
months.
days, 60 days.
Oh, 60 days. That's what
So-
you want. That's fine. I'll
Councilman
support
DeSulme, do you feel a motion is in order to propose tabs I and J as they exist?
I would allow my council member to, because I made,
Well, we never moved the item.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Oh.
Is he, because
I thought the item was moved.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't moved already. Oh, we
I'm
were
ready to
discussing.
make one if
I am
that's where
too.
you're
Okay,
coming
make your
from.
motion.
Let me,
Come with your
let me say
Let's
something.
see.
I'm sorry,
Come with his
Councilman.
motion.
Oh, no, I just have a question for, so Councilwoman Timothy, you said you are in support of having elections 60 days after he's gone.
I would be, if what's on the table right now is move it to November 2024 or March 2024, I would support November 2024 as opposed to moving it to March 2024.
Okay.
And at least we'll still have a special election for mayor once once his resignation is effective on the 22nd.
But, so, we're okay, which means that he could, okay, no, that's fine.
Okay,
Mr.
wait.
Mayor,
Yes.
No, go ahead.
No,
You guys can call the question. I'm ready to vote.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
But are you
Call
still,
the
are you
vote.
still, oh, yeah, you could go
No, he's
ahead.
calling the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve tabs I and J. If they need to be separate, I'll make two separate motions. As presented, moving the elections, I can't believe from May until November of 2024.
But I thought Councilwoman estimate wanna prefer March.
I didn't say that.
He didn't
sir.
say.
So I
He
want,
didn't say-
so you want to apply to me, whether or not.
Okay.
If March, whether I win or lose, I won't be able to win.
If there's not a second, then, you know.
No,
I'll-
it's
I'll-
not a second.
I'll second
They,
it. Oh, I'm just making sure.
I was asking Councilwoman, which
It's been,
are you inclined for
you
any of
don't,
them?
the
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
What do
okay.
March?
She said she's not inclined with none of them, so that's
If
fine.
she's none of them,
That's fine.
what about you, Councilwoman?
You made a
said that
motion,
she
did
made the
you?
motion.
Are you waiting for your
I
second?
can-
I made a motion.
I'll
March.
second his, no, not March.
No, not March.
No, not you, him. Oh,
I made a motion to move our election as it's proposed in the ordinance as it's being first read from May of 2023 to November of 2024.
And I'll second his motion.
Okay.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab I. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Biedemeyer, how do you vote?
yes,
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin, how do you vote?
No.
yes.
Vice
She vote yes.
I voted no.
We know, we heard. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Desume, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 4-1 vote.
The second, which one? Is both, Madam Clerk?
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab J. Is there a second?
I thought it was seconded already.
Somebody
I'll
just
second that one.
Councilwoman
second, I'll
Timothy,
second.
Yeah, I
second
thought
both.
that was both. Okay, but that'll do it. That's fine.
The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. Mayor Biedemeyer, how do you vote?
Yes,
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin, how do you vote?
No.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desume, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 4-1 vote.
thank you very much. Have a good night. See you tomorrow night.
Madam Manager, although I was in support of the item tonight, and I know it has to be reconsidered again.
Let's
Oh.
look for some people
Let them
to
leave.
clear the.
Still want to wait, Mayor? You still want to wait? I can talk loud.
just-
It's just, oh.
Just
oh.
let them. Please, can you leave quietly? Thank you. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
I know I supported it tonight, and I'm not sure where I will be by the next meeting, but I would like to see the financial impact in all of the scenarios that was discussed tonight in terms of moving the election, whether it's November, whether it's March. We need to understand what the fiscal impact is going to be and the savings is going to be from up here. So I would like to have a little bit further information before I make my decision by second reading. So there'll be work to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
She's such a sweet.
Mboli.
Move to adjourn.
Can we move to adjourn?
Did we pull K?
On the 18, we will
Is there
move
a
it to-
second?
To adjourn?
Yes.
I was
yeah,
saying it somewhat
I'll say-
facetiously, but
What other item, important item do we have?
Move everything to consent.
Can we move everything to consent if there is no objections? Madam Clerk, Madam City Attorney. L&M?
Yeah, we can move everything except L&M.
Okay.
Does that have
Can
to
we
be a
move all
motion?
the item to consent except L&M?
second,
Oh.
we'll still hear L and M tonight. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a motion on the floor? What is-
Yes, I have a motion and there's a second.
I have a motion made by Mayor Bieneme to move tabs E, F, G, and H to the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
I have a question, please.
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
we still entertaining item F?
That's the
No,
one.
per my memo, that was deleted.
Oh, so it is it was
Yeah, it was
mentioned
out.
here. Wanted to make sure.
So the motion corrected is to move items E, G, and H to the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
L&M?
If you are giving testimony today on the items at L and M, please rise and raise your right hand as I issue the oath. You're not giving testimony, you're making a presentation. Well, are you giving testimony, sir?
No, he's a journalist,
Okay.
media.
So then there's no one to issue the oath to.
Yeah.
And so I'll just go ahead and read the tabs, but just remember that nobody was sworn in. Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature, and if you wish to speak in favor of, object to, or comment on an item, you'll need to complete a public speaker's card indicating the agenda item number on which you would like to comment. You must be sworn in before addressing the city council, and you may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse to submit to cross-examination, the city council will not consider your comments in its final deliberation. Please also disclose any ex parte communications you may have had with any members of the city council. City council members must do the same. Nobody came up to, or nobody rose to take the oath on tabs L and M.
That's the
Okay.
blend.
All right. So if you're giving testimony today on the items at L and M, please rise and raise your right hand as I issue the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do. Thank you, and please be seated. Tab L, a proposed quasi-judicial second reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Volume 1, Goals, Objectives, and Policies of the City of North Miami 2016 Comprehensive Plan. More specifically, the future land use element thereof in accordance with the requirements of Section 163.3184, parentheses 3, Florida Statutes 2022, and Chapter 29, Article 3, Division 11, Section 3-1102, parentheses capital A, and Sections 3-1105 through 3-1110 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances by amending the future land use element at policy 1.15.1 to combine the primary and secondary pools of floating dwelling units, providing for an initial hearing and subsequent transmittal of the proposed amendment to the reviewing agencies and/or any interested local government or governmental agency for review under the expedited state review process, providing for an adoption hearing and subsequent transmittal of the proposed amendment, as may be amended to respond to comments from the reviewing agencies, to the State Land Planning Agency for a determination of completeness, providing for repeal conflicts, severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, and an effective date, tab L.
Excuse me, Madam Clerk, do you want to read tab M, since it's the system item?
Sure. Tab M, a proposed quasi-judicial second reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, entitled Land Development Regulations, specifically at Article 4, Division 2, Section 4-205, entitled Floating Unit Allocation, to combine the primary and secondary pools of floating dwelling units and further clarify the non-residential pool in accordance with Section 3-302 and Sections 3-1004 through 3-1007 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and an effective date, tab M.
Good evening. Derek Cook, Director of Community Planning and Development. As stated, item before you is a land use amendment to combine the two primary and secondary pools of our bonus units. This item was originally heard on May the 3rd, 2022 by the Planning Commission. At that time, they reviewed it and voted to recommend this amendment 7-0. Additionally, on May the 24th, 2022, Mayor and Council reviewed this item and voted 4-0 in support of this amendment. So what we have here is that we're seeking to combine the two pools to allow for units to be used throughout the city, excluding the SDTOD and the RAC area. In 2015, the city established the two pools of floating residential units. The primary for the use within the neighborhood redevelopment overlay area, and the secondary for use elsewhere in the city, excluding the SDTOD, and also in Solomia area. The amendment will continue to spur economic development and create additional modern and safe housing. They're transmitted to and improved by the Department of Economic Development and Economic Opportunity. The effective date, if it's so chose by the Mayor and Council to approve this, will be 31 days after this date. Item M, which is the sister item for this matter, is for the floating units to be combined within the land development regulations. And just to reiterate, it has been said as it relates to the land use component, the combining of the two residential pools into the one residential pool to create a commercial pool, identifying remaining number of available floating units, and further clarify the residential floating units.
Mr. Cook, was this
Yes.
the item that we saw prior to when combining the pools? And I know we had to submit, we've seen this item before,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am, we've
Yeah,
seen both
can
of
we
them.
speed it up? Just
Maybe
for-
we can skip the presentation, Vice Mayor, and
Yes.
So in essence, we're just combining the two pools, as I stated, the primary and secondary pools. As I stated earlier, that you heard this on the 24th of May, and you voted in approval of both items.
Okay. Thank you.
Ready to move them.
Did we open public hearings? Okay, now public hearing is open. No. Oh, Mr. Blend. Oh, no. She's coming.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Vice Mayor and Council. I believe that while this is a second reading, when you combine separate items, including residential and then reference to commercial, there are unintended consequences. So as it relates to combining the two, I just need somebody to give some thought, just like what happened earlier this evening. There are unintended consequences here, and there are no guardrails, so that there are cities that have floating units for residential. One could be a middle income or high end residence, and one could be a HUD dwelling. So, and the tax implications and all sorts of property planning change the nature of neighborhoods. So I'm letting you all know, and I was gratified to hear Councilwoman Timothy, my council person, say that on another item she wanted more in-depth information. This is so broad and changes things, changes communities, changes neighborhoods without regard for what you are doing. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. And this is one of those times. You can do this. I'm sure your city attorney has given you all sorts of reasons that it's legal, which is what the city attorney is supposed to do. But it shouldn't be this way, and I think you should defer the vote. This is a Monday night before Election Day. Really.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval.
Second.
If I may,
Al?
just one question.
Yes.
This was the item where we had to combine the two pools, correct? Where,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, and just to Mrs. Blend, I know this was an item that came to us before. We've had several requests for, more units in certain areas, but because they weren't allowed to tap into those pools. Right now, we're over, from the last conversation that we had, I think we don't even have enough units for all the projects that are being proposed right now to the city. So that's why we have projects in line. There's projects that the city has even approved, i.e. Ruggs Parks, but we haven't even given them their units yet. Am I correct in saying that? Like Ruggs Parks, they weren't allocated units yet.
If they went through the conditional use permit
Yeah.
process, then they have units
Okay.
that is allocated to.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's enough.
Thank you very much. I have a motion on the floor. Is any second for tab L?
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab L. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Desilme. Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin, how do you vote? Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desilme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Tab M.
Move approval on tab M.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab M. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Desilme. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desilme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much. Citizen forum.
Citizens Forum. Esther Blinn, 1990 Northeast 118 Road, North Miami, Florida. For context, the reference to the item that is now set or scheduled for a Friday for a second reading regarding the scheduling of elections. 2015 is not the date when this first came up. There's an alternative. You can put it on the ballot, which I believe Marie Estime referenced. And actually, former Councilman Blinn, several times during his terms of office, requested that the council vote to put it on the ballot, and it did not pass. But that is the way to do it. When I cast my vote, I expected your term to end May of 2023. And the will of the people, when you cast your vote and you expect a term to end, is very sacred as far as I am concerned. Furthermore, you're talking about cost. You're talking about 18 months of paying your salaries, your pensions, your 401ks, et cetera, that far exceed the cost of an individual election in May. The purpose of having more participation, yes, is a laudable one, but all of those that I was able to get, the city attorney was very comprehensive in his attorney general opinions, but none of them extended the terms of people to almost, for some people, a second term or half of their term, with all of the implications. So I am very disappointed, very disappointed. I take my vote very seriously, and I didn't vote you in
Thank
for
you,
an
Ms.
extra
Blaine. Thank
18
you.
months.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. And District 1, do you have any report?
I know with tropical storm Nicole coming, I'm about to start receiving questions about sandbags. Do we plan, excuse me, do we plan to provide sandbags? If so, what's going to be the procedure for that?
Generally, it's not there until we do a warning. So
Tropical storm warning or hurricane warning?
it's usually for a hurricane warning, but we can do for tropical, what we don't necessarily do for tropical storm. The last storm was a bit different, and so we did do some of those early as it came, even though it didn't hit us directly, and it was named a hurricane.
So the answer is yes, we're doing them. No, we're not doing them. I'm confused.
The answer is if it warrants and we're at a certain stage, then yes, we would do
Yes,
that.
when you're telling me when the emergency management operation at the county level activate the operation, that's when you're gonna start moving forward and do what's necessary.
Are we ready then if that
Yes,
I mean
that's the question.
today's Monday, the storm's expected to roll in on Thursday. I don't want it to be Wednesday afternoon and suddenly we're scrambling to find sand to do sandbags because we didn't think about it 48 hours ahead of time. Are we ready at whichever time?
Yeah, if it's necessary, we have them, and we have sandbags ready, and we can deploy them within hours. So, yes,
Okay.
we've always been in that preparation mode.
So I need to tell residents that they need to hang tight until there's a hurricane warning?
Yes.
Thank you.
District 3,
How you gonna skip two?
oh, I said 2. Skip 2, sorry.
Just wanted to wish Mayor best of luck tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you leave on November. I can't. No, but best of luck tomorrow. Hope to have you at the county because we know that North Miami has a lot of needs from Miami-Dade County, and if not, we'll be knocking on the door of the next commissioner. But just wanted to say best of luck tomorrow, Mayor.
Thank you very much. District 3,
Thank you. Good evening again. Just wanted to remind you all to join us at the Get in Gear Community Bike Ride this Saturday, November 12th, and experience a scenic route throughout the beautiful city of North Miami. This month's ride will be in honor of the National Epilepsy Awareness Month. So Ms. Gomez said she would be here. So, and there's going to be a whole lot of people there, so I would encourage you to come and register. Registration begins at 8 a.m. at Moco Plaza, which is located 770 Northeast 125th Street, where the ride will promptly start at 8:30, and it's a 90-minute long ride. So please bring your bicycle. Helmets are required for participant age 16 and under, and are encouraged encouraged for all participant. Rest and water breaks this month are sponsored by Alaska Coffee Roasting and North Miami Nutrition. Additionally, Santa and I invite you to Winter Wonderland, happening December 16 at Cagney Park. Join us as we celebrate the holiday season. There will be toy distribution, music, food, rides, games, and more, so please save the date. That's December 16th. And then on January 1st, I'm at 9 a.m., I'm inviting you all to enjoy our 4th annual Soup Jumu celebration event at Mocha Paradise Courtyard. So start the New Year's with us with a nice warm cup of Soup Jumu. And we're waiting for you guys January 1st. And this year is going to be extra special. We're going to also be celebrating the life of a former artist that actually opened up the year with us and unfortunately died a couple of weeks ago. So Mika Ben. So I invite you to come and celebrate with us. I want to also wish all of you all of you that are veteran, happy Veteran Day, and thank you for your service. And every year I mention that we have our own here at the dais, which is our city attorney. Thank you for being a veteran. Thank you for your service, and happy Veteran Day to everyone else. That's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
District 4.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick reminder of the town hall meeting focusing on housing, renters assistance on November 15th at the Joe Celestine Center from 6 to 8, followed by the following day, November 16th, we're going to have a turkey distribution in partnership with Nomi Village at the Nomi Village on 123rd Northwest 7th Avenue. And on December 3rd, we will have our first annual in partnership with the city and the North Miami CRA, the FAM Festival, which is food, art, and music, and headliner by Rotimi. We'll be there in Afrobeat. I see my manager ready to dance, and Vaglavi and other artists shall to be announced shortly, soon. Again, thank you. And one thing, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to clarify regarding the incident that occurred, the discussion that happened last night. And Mr. Attorney, well, it seems like time is going by so fast. It seems like last night, couple hours ago. Mr. Attorney, I know there was a discussion in regards to the appointment after the mayor leaves, and you said the acting mayor does not is something, I don't need an answer. I just wanted to bring it up because it's something that not only North Miami we have done, but it's and I've gotten opinions from other folks. No, Mr. Mayor, please allow. This is my time.
Okay.
And it's funny because I never had this discussion with you, Mr. Attorney, but and if that's your legal opinion, that's fine. But it's every time a particular item comes up in the way it's being. Your opinion, this and this, that. There's different things as the city attorney. You have your opinion, which is the legal opinion that you are entitled to, but you have also made some legal opinions that some of us, well, mainly me, that not necessarily agreed with. So please, when it comes to matters like this, I will caution you to please, because it seems like when it comes to particularly me, it seems like you seem to have some opinion. I don't want to debate. I just wanted to put it out there. I don't need you to. It's not a question. It's just a statement. It's not a question, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Am I going to be allowed to respond?
Doing your report, you will be able to answer that. Yeah. And I want to thank everyone. And we had a good night. And there is no better way to enjoy November 8th, right, with the family and the community, than receiving from the United States Air Force the American flag. And that's been, it's something dear to my heart. I didn't have a chance to serve, but receiving this flag from the men and women in uniform, especially the Air Force, and that's something dear to my heart. And I want to thank them especially for an operation in Africa, and I'm pretty much sure that our chief, Larry Joey, you have received multiple flags, but mine is from the Air Force. Thank you. Madam Clerk, your report.
Thank you. So we started off the meeting with a special proclamation for Epilepsy Alliance of Florida, and she mentioned that Katia is also on the board. And for those of you who don't know, Katia Filippo, our governmental affairs manager, to our knowledge, is the first Black woman of Haitian descent to serve on the board of Epilepsy Alliance of Florida. And that's actually really significant, because what a lot of us don't realize is that this has a huge impact on the Haitian community, and for several different reasons. But to be able to have that level of representation so that people can actually understand what this is and how to spot it and how to help folks is really important. Also, you could clap for it. Yes, you could give the spirit fingers for Katia. But you let them clap all meeting. So, so on Veterans Day, although I may not be here for our ceremony, I do want to thank all of the men and women and non-binary folks who have served our country with courage and faithfulness. But most importantly, thank you for fighting for our freedom. So not only to you, Jeff Cazot, but to everyone across the city who has served, thank you so much for your service. In case you were not aware, tomorrow is Election Day. So please make sure that you take some time out to go vote. I genuinely don't care who you vote for. I just really encourage you all to make your voices heard. Today is National Notary Public Day, and so I just wanted to use this time to plug the city clerk services, and one of them is to notarize documents for you. So please feel free to stop by our office if you're ever in need. And holidays are coming. Passport appointments are getting full, so make sure if you need to travel that you get your passport appointment and get your passport done. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, Mayor, very briefly. So the class action lawsuit that was filed against us with the Jockey Club, I sent you all an email. That case is over. We were able to settle it. It went to the court. The court approved it. I believe it was last Monday or Tuesday. It went to court and they approved it. A great settlement for the city, great settlement for the residents who were affected. We were able to manage to save quite a bit of money by settling it early when we did, both in legal fees and in terms of what we paid out. So I just want to bring that out to you. In terms of what just happened here, I'm not sure why, how I caused offense. So to be clear, there was a term that was used back then. They used the term acting mayor. What I said today was the term acting mayor does not exist in our code or in our charter. It doesn't mean that you can't refer to yourselves as acting mayor or whatever. The question that was asked was, does he act as acting mayor? There is no acting mayor. What I did say, and I don't know why the vice mayor took offense, was he would serve, if there was an appointment, he would serve in his role. If you want to call it acting mayor, I call it acting mayor, but he's still the vice mayor. He would be the presiding officer of this board until the next person is selected. So I'm not sure how I caused offense, but hopefully that clarifies what I just said. And then thank you both, Councilwoman and Madam Clerk. Veterans Day is one of my favorite holidays, so thank you.
So I just wanted to introduce the council, introduce Laura Woodley, our new personnel director. She comes to us as the former human resources director from North Lauderdale. If you could stand up, Laura.
Laura, if I don't win the next election, I'm looking for a job, okay? That's a joke.
Are you done with your report?
I am. I'm done. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ms. Anisha Daniels, can you use the mic, please?
No report.
Chief, thank you very much. Good night. See
I
you
have
on
a
the
motion
18th.
made
The
by
next meeting is on the 18th.
Councilman Galvin to adjourn. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estime Irvin. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries with a 4-0 vote. It is